Cell phones in the air. Yeah. Open my eyes to the world and I see. Got a lot of guns and they aiming at me.
So hi Limitless, and welcome to yet another episode of Undefined. I was so glad that you could join us last week, and for you those who didn't manage to, please check it out, see what the series is about. But essentially, we're looking at how we are undefined by the season we've been in, undefined by the fact that there was a COVID crisis, there still is actually, and instead we're defined by Christ. Yeah, and so last week we focused on the crisis. We looked at how things began, what the reactions were, and just seeing how God held us through the season. And so this week we're going to focus on the committee. And before I go too far, my name is Davis Kadinji. By God's grace and mercies of the committee we're going to speak about today, I was actually the chair. And we were led by our one and only, the humble Pastor Bundi. You're shocked I'm calling you humble?
No. Well, it's humbling to be called humble.
So a man of God who's really held the ministry through. It's been amazing to see his work, and just so that you guys can know, he's not been working alone. There have been guys in the background, and that's our committee. So Bundi, maybe you can dig a bit deeper into the committee, like the different things that they do within the Limitless ministry, especially for those who may not know.
Thanks so much, Davis. It's an honor, round two. Bundi is my name. Serve as pastor here for Limitless in the youth department from Lakahi Chapel. And as you did mention, Limitless is a youth ministry, a student-led youth ministry. And yes, I do not work alone. These guys make me look good. We make each other look good, and I'm so grateful to be serving in the committee. And for those who might not be aware, as Davis has mentioned, our committee consists of 9 positions, 9 aspects of ministry. That's the lot that we found ourselves with for the past 1.5 years.
It's been a while.
I know you want a salary now, but just hold your horses.
Oh, down horses, wow.
Hold them. These jokes. I've really been suffering, guys. When I blink thrice, I'm in danger.
Wow.
So kind of helped me. So I actually asked Davis to allow me to write down a few things this time, so I do not forget any few aspects.
The names of people. Don't lie.
No, me forget you. I can't forget my committee. I know them by mind, by heart. But basically, our ministry runs on 9 different aspects of ministry, and we try to peg this on how best can we do a worship service or life together in terms of giving glory to God and for the good and joy of the people that we serve. So we do have 9 of them. We do have the chair, who happens to be you. Chairperson, of course, is at the top and helps to coordinate these activities, custodian of the mission and the mantra of Limitless. And without the chairperson, the many things will fall through the cracks. And of course, is aided by a vice chair. Vice chair, we always tend to find a lady. Talks best that way. To be, I kind of wonder how it would be we had a guy chair and a guy vice chair. that would be funny. That would be interesting to see. And then after that, we do have a services director. Services director helps us in planning our in-person services, ensuring that we actually do meet. So who's hosting the service? How does the place look when arranged? The deco, all aspects of the service in terms of a design. We have a services director for that. Then we also have, within all that service, now we have a music director. Music director helps in coordinating our music, helps us in seeing that we worship God through music. Not only during the service, but even outside. Should we go for a mission somewhere? What aspects of music are we doing? These talents that we have, can we do musical covers? Can we do a concert? So that's why we have a music a docket within our ministry. We also have a media director. This person helps us in publicity to a great extent, editing our audio-visual clips. How are they communicating our announcements? How are they? How we're ensuring Limitless is heard outside the confines of our congregation. In various universities beyond just the University of Nairobi, where we are mostly based. Next to him, we have the sound director. This sound director really helps with ensuring the technical bits are set up during the service. The microphones, the display from the laptop to the screens. So kind of helps the media director ensure our services run on pretty well. From there we have our fellowship director. This one enables us to, for us to kind of fellowship together within the service. After the service, snacks that we are eating, visitors who are coming in, are they taken care of? Should someone happen to be bereaved, how are we tending towards that? Are we going out to the funeral? Are we contributing as a fellowship to kind of be with them in this time of need? That's why we have a fellowship director. Are we going to a children's home? That's just the aspects of care. Beyond that, we have a discipleship director. Now, every limitlesser that we get in, how are they being discipled? Are they in a Bible study? If they're not in a Bible study here, maybe they're in a certain university, can we form a family for them there, where they can do life and they can find a limitlesser where they do life beyond Sunday. Limitless doesn't only happen on Sunday. We want it to happen each and every day of the week. So do you have people you work with? And that's why we have a discipleship director. And lastly, we have an evangelism director. They enable us to evangelize, to do mission work within this University of Nairobi or outside, missions to high schools, missions when the church used to function as normal. We used to go to committee, be the link between us and the main church in terms of engaging in missional activities. And that's the long, short story of the positions we have here at Limitless. They're not really positions, scratch that. They are points of service. Points of service, they help coordinate us together in all these key aspects of our worship service.
Thanks for sharing that. So as you can see, there's a lot of different aspects that go into running a youth ministry, and it's just amazing to see the way God would give the providence and the guidance to have so many points of service and even ways for people to plug in. Actually, I think this year was the most people that Limitless has ever had, possibly. If I'm not wrong. So back to that that question of serving. So our com is short for committee, entered, is it July last year?
Actually June. So we've served for 1.5 years. That one is God and God alone. So did you ever see the committee serving for this long? Well, I know these guys are power hungry. They just want to keep serving for life. They're like, thank God this is continuing on and on. Of course, that was in the plan. When we were still meeting physically for our meetings Sunday evenings after the service, we had the plan for a handover. We kept asking ourselves, when can this handover be? The time is coming to an end. So we had a plan for the year, have a concert, as we mentioned last week, have a concert, and then have this one last event called Blast, and then now start thinking about a handover process. Who are we seeing in our fellowship that can take over from us in a sense? And just to reiterate, as Davis mentioned, these are students who are running with these ministries. They've not been trained. They don't have prior knowledge, 15 years experience of leading committees.
And you're just 20.
They're just 20.
Work
That's,
experience.
5. They have no work experience, and they are trusting God that they can balance their academics with serving God and His people. Just thought I'd put that out there. So, of course, we had a handover thought. We toyed around with it. But COVID happened, so we didn't have a time to sit down and kind of analyze our congregation and say, we believe God is calling us, calling this person towards active service for a year or so. So I did not foresee it. We have held you guys hostage. I do not apologize. I do not apologize. I have enjoyed working with the team. But yeah, most definitely, we didn't see it coming.
Yeah, that's true. So let me ask, the way you've explained the the different aspects that those involved in, or the particular heads within the different departments in Limitless, what they did or what they usually do, how are these activities hampered? Maybe you can give us a few examples of, for example, was mission work continued despite, with all the lockdowns and everything? Did discipleship continue in a sense, you know?
Well, of course, the COVID-19 hampered everyone and anyone who works, whose work entails physicality, entails meeting up, entails talking to people and doing life together. Anything that involved a physical activity changed. Actually wrote a few things down. So first off, our services. We couldn't meet for a physical service. Church was cancelled or put on hold. We had to find ways to morph into our online space. So our services director couldn't get at the host that they're coming to host an in-person service or come do deco for a service. Missions, evangelism was hampered. Part of the aspects of evangelism was the blast event. We couldn't have it. We had confirmed guests who said they were coming. Beyond that, discipleship. Bible studies couldn't meet as normal. You can't just come now, meet, do snacks, talk to each other. You know, we could be putting someone in danger. And even our fellowship. Fellowship director probably now wondering, now how do we do snacks? There's no service. How do we care for people who we lost? We did lose some people, and some people did lose their loved ones. I know of Kanini, Regina. She lost her dad just after COVID happened, and we couldn't go. I really wondered, the pastor here, how does this work? How does this work? Can't go to comfort her, a phone call can't suffice. Yeah, one of the few things that haunt me, you can't be there for people. We lost one of us, Martin Chomba, about a month or 2 months ago. Dear friend of mine, and you know, we're like, had we met more often, we could have known how he's doing health-wise, and yeah, it's one of those what ifs. Ministry was hampered. Church, as much as I think you can still sustain church online, it just wasn't designed to work that way. Yeah. Our ministries were really hampered in a rut.
Okay.
Yeah.
So despite the ways that ministry was hampered during the season, what ways would you say that the individual committee members stepped up during the period? You know, how did they, what hands-on approach did they take up? You know, how did they ensure that the ministry was pushing on even despite the seasons, or with adjustments having to be made here and there because it's not physical? Yeah.
Well, now this is why I wrote down. Not because I will forget, because now I'm so overwhelmed with emotion, and you know, I'll just get so lost and I'll take forever and don't want to take your entire day. So we have 9 aspects of our ministry, which entails 9 committee members, and these 9 committee members have served for over 1.5 years, just to say so. And so when you say ministry was hampered, we're actually talking about them as well. Them trying to lead and find ways, how can we morph, how can we do things a bit differently? So in no particular order, I just wrote the names of each and every committee member just to paint a picture as to how ministry can really be affected during a COVID season. We had Grace, who is our services coordinator. She's the one who would get us hosts and decorate our services and find those creative ways to see how service can have that experience where we glorify God and for the good and joy of the people. She had to make a schedule, call people and say, we're actually doing recordings now. We can't do a live service. We're doing recordings. Are you available on this week? Some will say no. Some will think it's an ulterior motive that she's calling them at night. Grace, why are you calling people at night? And others will call her again at night. You people, why are you disturbing Grace? And all these communications that she had to make. And I can testify that for each and every week since March 22nd, we didn't lose. We weren't in a situation whereby we did not have a host for the service. She was able to get 2 or 1, and guys showed up. And I believe she was able to move in that way. She herself.
Okay. Wow.
She, of her own accord, also came in. She didn't just delegate, she also stepped in, literally risking life and death to ensure service happened. And for that, I think that was a great aspect. We have Linda. Linda is in charge of our music. She really carried a heavy burden. So it's not like Grace getting 1 or 2 people. Linda has to get a whole team of musicians and instrumentalists. Yeah. And again, I can attest, for all those weeks, we did not miss any person. If they couldn't come here, they did home services.
Yeah, actually, those were so nice. There was a point she even had, it was her and her sisters.
I was so surprised. I was so surprised. And then that thing of mixing, these 3 guys are from different homes, Kina Eddie, Kina Kelly. And then they all come together and what manner of love is that? That people will say, let's step in for the sake of the congregants and for God's glory. And Linda was able to move in that way. We can't do it physically, but she had to coordinate, find people at specific times. And I'm sure she got frustrated sometimes. Me calling her, asking her, so what's the list? Is the list aligned to the theme of the service? She also has her life to live, and I'm here bothering her, and she willingly accepted my bothering, and that was interesting. We have Sharon, our discipleship director. We can't meet physically for Bible studies, so what happens? All Bible studies moved to Zoom. They moved to Zoom, and I'm sure now that's even a larger group. You're trying to see, is everyone really attending a Bible study? There are some Bible studies we had just formed pre-COVID. So we had new Bible study leaders like Victor, I believe Rahab, and they still have to find ways of coordinating this. And Sharon is there busy following up. She's one of the core members who says she prays for us by name. And whenever we have those meetings, she mentions that I prayed for you all by name, which changed a whole view of discipleship. Life groups, not just Bible studies, but we do life revolving around God's word. We also have Clinton. You all know Clinton. Clinton is our song guy. He was always here every 7 a.m. on Sundays pre-COVID to carry the instruments to YW and to set up.
It's a lot of work.
And not just for 1 year. Even before this committee, he was there. It was
the commitment. When it's come rain, come sunshine, he's there. He's the first one there. And then at times, you can even find that he's literally the only one there. Like, he hasn't managed to get help. And he's pushing on, You can honestly say that this is God working in someone's heart to persist in this way,
No, they had those muscles. I was wondering, where is this guy working out from?
Wow.
He can thank us for giving him a gym, a personal gym. So I believe he might have been one of the hardest hit. He couldn't do that because there was no physical service. So for some time he felt, I believe, what really am I doing? But he was able to bring his input in many ways as we are discussing with the team what happened during the service. He's been able to come all the way from CI or so I don't know those sides, and he's hosted service like twice or thrice, and the label disappears. It's not about what aspect I'm doing, is how am I contributing to the whole of the team, and for that I am really, really grateful. We have Sarah. Missions couldn't happen, evangelism couldn't happen, so her, almost like Clinton, had to morph. If I can't do that, where can I help the other team members? So she's there forwarding links to the service, they're commenting during the services, trying to rally us on and showing us that we are not alone. She's come all the way from, I think, Eldoret, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
She's been here, she's hosted service, I believe once, and that's after finding ways to come all the way here. We were never alone. There is Irene. Irene is our fellowship director, and she has a big heart. She says she's small, but she has a big heart, a really big heart for people. She'd call and tell me, this person is going through this, how can we be there for them? How can we find money to kind of assist them in that period of time? She came over and hosted a few times, I think once or twice, and then she got a job. So the schedule wasn't possible for her to come and do the recordings and stuff, but she was always with us, giving feedback, hosting, commenting, and for that I do thank her. It's a big thing to know how to morph as a leader. To not be rigid and say, if this one fails, I'm useless. And that's great leadership that I saw from this guy. And she's young, she's really, really young, and that was amazing. I believe I'm remaining with 3. So there's my friend Alex.
Actually, even as we speak, he's busy at work.
As we speak, Alex is busy at work somewhere, and we apologize. This guy is a dear brother. Dear brother. He comes all the way from Nakuru, and for the larger part of the year, he couldn't make it to come this side to help us with editing and doing all that. But every week, he'd make the poster to publicize, this is what we are doing at Limitless. He'd make the thumbnails, he'd be there commenting, monitoring our chats, and responding. So if you ever got a bad chat, that was Alex. Let me just throw it away. And he'd build a team in the background. One day I won't forget, it was his birthday. And he was here. He stayed here editing at the service for Sunday. I think it was on a Saturday. Stayed here, I didn't go anywhere. Was here almost literally the whole day. A Saturday, editing the service. And I was like, this guy, he loses his life to gain the life of Christ. He doesn't ask for any payment. Of course, he's still at school online, has a job. And that's motivating. That's massive. Thanks to Alex, many of the services that we've had online have been excellent. They've been genuine. Listening to all the bloopers that these guys make, and making us look good and hiding our inadequacies. For that, I say thank you. Second, lastly, of course, there's Leanne. Leanne, our vice chair. She leads our ladies ministry here, P31, and she's been of great help, really, really great help. She's done a lot, coming to host the services, being in the Bible studies, I believe checking up on the ladies as well, still balancing with schoolwork. These are things she doesn't really have to do, but she, there's times when labels really fade, as I mentioned earlier. Labels fade and you have to do what you must beyond labels, and I'm really grateful for her and how she morphed. I can't meet the ladies physically, but I'm still a limitlesser, I'm in the leadership, and I can see what I can do. And for that I'm thankful. And then, of course, lastly, we're left with you, and this is now the awkward moment. You're like, no, you just record later, then I'll talk about it. Yeah, it's been great serving with you for all this time, being with you in the other com, and getting to this com for all this while. For that, I'm genuinely grateful. It takes a great leader at the helm to hold these guys together for such a time, without being domineering, being loving, and always loved your advice and telling me, no, let's not do this, or this is why we shouldn't, the critical aspect. And for that, let me just say it to your face right now instead of recording in the background and then airing it later. So I think I have taken a long-winded route through that, but that's how everyone moved. That's how everyone moved.
Yeah, that's amazing. So when you reflect on all that people do, has what? Has the importance of a leadership team really stood out, especially within ministry during this season? As in, how important is having a leadership team to help out with ministry? How important is that?
Well, when it comes to the importance of a team, it helps with humility. Well, you can do all this alone, by the way. It's not a lie. It's not a lie.
You can try.
You can try. You start on Monday, then every day you do an aspect. You come, you're the only one, you lead the service, you sing, you do the AV, then we just see your photos, your gallery, your album there. And then you do the special, you collect the offering.
You give the offering, in fact.
You give the offering that you collect.
So your right hand gives the left.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, and then you preach, and then you go. And but doing this together helps with humility. Helps you in knowing it's not of your own strength. It's a team effort. It's a team effort. And if we could have, we would have. But we couldn't. We couldn't. A team is helpful to watch your back. At times, I may be too excited to start something, but the team tells me, no, it's not the perfect timing. That's not the right series at this time. People are going through something more than this. They give you a second, they lead from the second chair. And they help you see, probably if we did this other way. As I keep telling Alex, we are not omniscient. I don't have omniscience to know all things. So it helps to be humble and listen to this member that you work with, and they say, okay, actually we can do this other way. And it always works for God's glory. So a team, I believe, is really helpful.
Yeah, that's quite true. So are there any parting shots, any thoughts you'd like to share toward the committee, or maybe those who are either in a leadership position or those who look up to leaders, or in any aspect, possibly for our committee members who are listening, or those who are now getting a better view of leadership, especially in the context of ministry?
Well, I think what I may want to say is, I always had this, I think in House, Dr. House, I used to watch House, and there's a quote he says. He says, there's no I in team, but if you jumble the words a bit, there's a me there.
Wow.
So there's an individuality that someone brings to the table that I believe is important. And in any team that you belong in, you need to know what you bring to the table. Not out of pride, but out of humility, that this contributes for the general good. What I'd like to say to the team is, thank you for bringing what you had to the table. A good potluck. You didn't worry when someone picked from your basket a bit more than in other people's baskets. All you brought was what you had, and you laid it all on the table. And because of your work, we have enjoyed as limitless worshiping God, and I think that is that's a great thing. So keep serving. It is not in vain. At times it seems like church work is a mirage of sorts, or we are trying to opium. We're just high. We are addicted here and high on opium, and on cocaine, and yeah, we're feeling happy. We are going somewhere nice, and
We don't do drugs, please.
we don't do
It's an
drugs. No,
analogy.
no. Yeah. You know how that feels. And yeah. This life is real. I long for the day when Jesus Christ reveals himself in all his glory, like the transfiguration, and we're able to marvel at that and say, hey, okay, that's what's coming our way, and to be humble enough to be of service, So do not demean your point of service. I believe the com has learned that it's not about a tenure or a timing. It's more than that. The timing runs. What do you do then? Do you say, I serve my part in church, now I'll just be just sit in and listen and do nothing? No. We move beyond that, because behind the scenes we prayed a lot. We met not only physically but on Zoom. We talked. We listened into each other's lives, and we discussed each and every service. We gave feedback. We said this is what we need to improve on. It's behind the scenes. You can't do anything behind the scenes alone. You need people to do behind the scenes with. So yeah, if you be in any area of service, serve as if serving God and not men. And that way it will be an eternal service, such that even if you didn't hand over for the next 5 years, I know that's overstretching it, but you'll still say, it is well with my soul. Yeah, so I think that's what I'd conclude.
That's so true. Do as unto the Lord.
Yes.
It's amazing. Yeah, so thanks so much, Efren, who's managed to tune in today. Looking at that, the way the committee stepped up, and yeah, just seeing how, like Bundi's Rubik's Cube, in a sense, you need a different breed of different people to all, come, add in their input, and finally make up the final form.
This wasn't the point, but we get it. Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, yeah. So thanks for joining us. Next week, we're hoping to touch more on community. So we've seen how the committee stepped up. Now, what about community? What about the different limitlesses? How did they step up? How did God work through them, all for his purposes, for his honor and glory, and for our good and joy. Yeah. So I hope you'd tune in, and that this was indeed a blessing. Yeah. So stay safe, and longing to see you next week. Be blessed.
Okay.